It was Thanksgiving Eve, 1971, a miserable night of rain and wind in the Pacific Northwest. In the dense wilderness somewhere over southwest Washington, a man stepped out of the rear stairs of a Boeing 727 with a makeshift parachute on his back into a storm that should have killed him. He was carrying military-grade ordnance, 4 parachutes, and a bag filled with $200,000 in cash. He called himself Dan Cooper. The world came to know him as D.B. Cooper, and for 55 years he has been a phantom. He committed the only unsolved act of air piracy in U.S. commercial aviation history. No trace of him, his parachute, or the vast majority of that money has ever been definitively found. The FBI officially closed the Norjok file a decade ago, but the case refuses to die. In this video, we're going back to 1971 to recreate the perfect crime. We'll analyze the bizarre physical evidence that points toward a very specific identity, and we'll look at why, as of 2026, new analysis of rare earth particles on a necklace may have finally cracked this cold case wide open. This is the legend, the facts, and the physics of D.B. Cooper. Our story begins at Portland International Airport, Seat 18E, on Northwest Orient Flight 305, bound for Seattle. It's a short 30-minute hop. The man who checked in as Dan Cooper is unremarkable. Mid-40s, dark suit, sunglasses, carrying a black briefcase. Cooper has a simple order, a bourbon and soda. As flight attendant Florence Schaffner serves him, he hands her a note. She, thinking it's another pickup line, slips it unopened into her pocket. Cooper leans in. "Miss," he says calmly, "you'd better look at that note. I have explosive device." Threat was all it took. Schaffner sat. Cooper slightly opened his briefcase, revealing an array of red cylinders, wires, and a large battery. His demands were quiet, clear, and non-negotiable. $200,000 in American currency and 4 parachutes, 2 primary, 2 reserve. He specified military issue style. The plane reached Seattle at 5:39 p.m., flying in circles for nearly 2 hours to allow the FBI time to gather the cash and parachutes. When it landed, the exchange was made. All 36 passengers and 2 flight attendants were allowed to leave, but the skeleton crew, 2 pilots, a flight engineer, and senior flight attendant Tena Bar were kept on board. Cooper ordered the plane back into the sky. This is where the plan gets ingenious. Cooper ordered a flight path toward Mexico City, but he stipulated very specific conditions: a low altitude below 10,000 feet where the cabin would not need to be pressurized, the landing gear must remain down, and the wing flaps must be set to 15 degrees. They were flying a massive passenger jet like a large, slow-moving prop plane. He also demanded the aft stairs, the unique rear staircase of the 727, remain lowered. Just after 8 p.m., somewhere over the rugged wilderness of the Lewis River in southwest Washington, a flight attendant went to investigate a warning light on the flight deck. The aft stair hydraulics were engaged. Cooper had sent the remaining attendant to the cockpit. He was alone in the rear of the plane. When the jet landed in Reno, Nevada 2 hours later for a refueling stop, the stairs were down and dragging on the tarmac. D.B. Cooper was gone. What followed was one of the most extensive and expensive searches in U.S. history. They searched on the ground. They searched by helicopter. They used submarines to search the Columbia River. Nothing was found. Not a shoe, a piece of fabric, a parachute, or a single $20 bill. The FBI's Norjok profile assumed the hijacker was a skilled skydiver. Cooper jumped into a freezing rainstorm, with temperatures approaching minus 57 degrees Celsius in the wind chill, wearing business suit and loafers. The FBI suspected he hadn't survived the landing. But he left something behind. On his seat 18E, investigators found a black clip-on JCPenney tie. It was unassuming until citizen sleuths began analyzing it. In the 2010s, new microscopy revealed particles of highly pure titanium and rare earth elements like bismuth and cerium. These are not common pollutants. These were manufacturing byproducts used in extremely niche high-tech engineering firms like Boeing, or potentially specialized chemical or paint manufacturing. This single tie suggested that Dan Cooper was not a random skydiver. He might have been an engineer, a project manager, working at a sensitive contractor facility in the PNW. Over 800 people were investigated, but as we stand in 2026, one name dominates the conversation. Meet Richard McCoy. McCoy was a highly skilled paratrooper, a decorated Vietnam veteran, and here is the detail: he had planned a nearly identical hijacking 4 months after D.B. Cooper. McCoy was caught, convicted, and later killed in a after escaping prison. The FBI dismissed him as Cooper copycat because he did not perfectly fit the gentleman profile described by Tena Bar, but the case against him grew exponentially stronger. In late 2024 and through 2025, researchers worked closely with the McCoy family. Reports surfaced that a long-forgotten military-style parachute had been located in a shed on property belonging to McCoy's children. This wasn't one of the chutes McCoy used in his copycat heist. It was a different, civilian modified rig. The breakthrough: when the FBI agreed to test a new parachute in late 2025, forensic teams reportedly found microscopic particles that were a direct match to the unique rare earth signatures found on Cooper's black tie, the very same bismuth and cerium. As of early 2026, the case is not officially reopened, but this 1 in a billion material transfer has convinced almost all current investigators that Richard McCoy was in fact D.B. Cooper. He survived the jump in 71, only to execute the exact same plan months later when he ran out of money. If McCoy survived and used all that money, there is still one stubborn riddle. In 1980, 8-year-old Brian Ingram found 5,800 of the ransom cash decomposing on Tena Bar along the Columbia River, and the most recent diatom analysis, the study of algae, conducted as recently as 2023, shows that the money did not enter the water until months after the hijacking. This implies the cash was not lost in the jump. It was either buried or dumped long afterward. Did Cooper return to bury part of his prize? Did another person find it and hide it? We may have found the man. The physics of the tie and the 2026 parachute evidence points firmly to McCoy, but we have yet to solve the mystery of the river cache. Even with modern science, D.B. Cooper still holds secrets. He remains the phantom of the Northwest, and the only man to truly disappear into the modern sky. The story of D.B. Cooper is indeed filled with numerous intriguing details and crazy plot twists, and it's easy to see why the world has not stopped looking for him. I mean, he muddied the waters perhaps, or he maybe never even survived the landing. The list of possible scenarios goes on, and everybody has a favorite scenario that they like to believe. So let me know which story you believe in and what's the evidence that seals it for you. Let me know.